and from that drop down list, click the option account. Fine. So it shows that the version which is there in your system will be highlighted here. That is Professional Plus 2019. Right? Maybe you will have some 2019 version, but it will be a student version or a home version. Right? So that's the different features according to the feature which is installed in your system. Some deficiency will be there. If you're using Plus Professional, fine, it will be okay. But again, if you're using 16, no issues there. Why? Because we'll discuss all the features, all the terms are there for 16, 13. 2010 and 2007, there will be some deficiency that I think you can take care and just access some other laptop where this latest version is installed. You can try all that in that particular machine or laptop. Fine. Now, just let me share what this interface says about. Now, this is some graphical interface here, right? It shows how many rows are there, how many columns are there in your Excel interface. So now it shows from your in the screen. If you place your mouse pointer on the left hand side of the screen, it shows some numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That is known as rows, and A, B, C, D are known as columns. Fine. Now, rows means it's a horizontal format, or the way where the rows are defined known as horizontal, and where the columns are referred, they're known as vertical column or vertical position. Right. So vertical lines are defined as columns and horizontal lines are defined as rows. Fine. So from there we'll start the Excel journey. Now when I select any particular box, that range or that specific location is called cell or active cell. That's the more technical word, active cell. When you select any active cell or when you select any particular rectangular box, the address of that rectangular box will be defined in the name box. Now this is known as name box, where my mouse pointer is right now active. It shows the address of your active cell. Now it shows I6, that means I column, and the particular row, that is 7. So where these rows and column intersect, that location is called, or that point is called cell or active cell. Fine. Now these lines which are there in the screen right now are known as grid lines. G-R-I-D, grid lines. Fine. So rows, columns, cell, grid lines. So these are some technical words. You have to use these words. Then only means one more thing. You're not here for a data entry workshop, right? You attend this training or you attend this workshop for a technical point of view. So always use technical concept, technical journals only. Fine. So rows, columns, grid lines, and cell. Fine. Now, how many rows and columns are there in your Excel interface? Again, if you're using 2007 or any prior version, there will be some variation in that count. But if you're using 10 onwards, the count will be same. Now, how to check total number of rows and columns in your Excel sheet? Again, the shortcuts are mentioned here. You can take a screenshot of this one, or just take a pen and paper, just write down, okay, control down, control up to check the or to navigate in between an Excel sheet, right? So if you use control down arrow, it will directly go to the last row in your Excel sheet. Here it is. Control down arrow is the shortcut to get to the last row in your Excel sheet. That shows 10,48,576 rows in this particular version. Now the number will be same for 16, 21 as well. No change will be there. But for any prior version, definitely that will be 64,000 only. If you're using 2007, please correct me if I'm wrong. Now let me use control up arrow, come to the home cell or the first cell in your first row in your Excel sheet. But the same way, now you can use control left and right to navigate between rows, horizontally, right? Just use control. Fine. So it goes to the last column, that is accepting. Now, so what's the total count of column? It directly the count will be 16,384 columns and 10,48,576 rows. So that's why if you take in a rounded figure, 10 lakh rows and 16,000 columns are there in your Excel interface. Fine. Now it's just like a